This is the cheapest electric SUV currently on sale in Australia, and by some margin. And I'm getting that bit out of the way early because this is actually the important bit. It doesn't feel like some stripped back entry-level model. Even in this cheapest version, the cabin is soft and squishy. It's got twin screen tech, plenty of other features too. A big box of basic, this ain't. So how the hell have they done it? And is it any good to drive? Stick around and we're going to answer both those questions.
I know I said it wasn't the most important thing, but it's still pretty important. This thing is cheap. It's a 2-model range that kicks off with the Dynamic at $31,990 before on-road costs, before stepping up to the Premium at $35,990. They both get the same motor and battery, by the way, so the extra money just comes down to extra kit. The Dynamic rides on 16-inch alloys wrapped in cheaper Westlake rubber, scores LED headlights and DRLs, and gets rain-sensing wipers and heated wing mirrors. Inside, there's a 10.1-inch central touchscreen, an 8.8-inch driver display, faux leather seats with manual adjustment up front, and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto linked to a 4-speaker stereo. Now the Premium then rides on 17-inch alloys wearing better hand-cooked rubber, and there's a panoramic glass roof with a shade and roof racks. Inside, the central screen grows to 12.8 inches, and there's an 8-speaker stereo and a wireless charge pad. Your seats are now electronically adjusted, and there's some extra safety stuff too, but we'll cover that off in a second.
Now a reminder, we're talking $31,990 plus on-road costs for this entry-level Dynamic. And again, it just doesn't feel that stripped back. You still get the roof spoiler, you get 16-inch alloy wheels. Now they're 17-inch in the Premium, and you get these blacked out body pillars as well. And up the front, you've got LED lighting and LED DRLs. Again, not bad considering the investment. Now a reminder, we are in the entry-level car, and it is missing some of the features that are pretty nice to have in the more expensive one. That one gets heated and cooled seats, for example, a bigger screen and wireless charging. But even here, it doesn't feel that cheap in here. Now, as I mentioned, all of the materials are quite soft and squishy, which is a nice change. There's no hard plastics where your elbows rest, for example. The seats are nice and comfortable. And there are a couple of features that I can't tell if they're kind of cool or a little too quirky. So a shortcut on the screen to access your climate control, for example, is what they call a 3-finger swipe. Swipe to the left or the right and it brings up your fan speeds, and then you can adjust from there. Swipe up or down and it adjusts your temperature, or you can manually adjust it once the screen pops up. But for me, that feels really strange. I don't know why I was using my right hand, actually. My left hand does feel a lot easier, but even still, it's kind of a weird way to access it. I can't tell if I love it or I don't like it that much. Now, there are some physical buttons in here as well, which is also a nice touch. You have a wheel here to control your volume and your tuning, and you have a little button here to go through your drive modes, and you can activate your demister at the push of a button if things fog up. So all in all, I've got to say, it's actually quite a nice blend between technology and then really tactile hands-on stuff. Now, one quick aside, these cars are super, super, super new. When I got in this morning, it had 25 kilometers on it, which means it's really just rolled off the boat. But if you need more evidence, I've been peeling off these little protective stickers all day as well. So we are talking spanking new cars here. Now, BYD make a fairly big deal about the interior packaging of this car, and by that I mean how much space you have. It rides on the brand's new flat floor platform, which means there's no sort of raised transmission tunnel in the middle, allowing you to sort of stretch out a little bit more. And I'm sitting behind my own 175 centimeter driving position, and as you can see, I've got plenty of knee room, and even sitting back, I got plenty of headroom too. So space is actually a win in this car, as it is for most EVs.
Boot space is not cavernous, but also not tiny, 380 litres with the rear seats in place, growing to 1,320 litres with the rear pews folded flat. There's also USB-A and USB-C ports in each trim, and both offer a V2L or vehicle to load connection, so you can power up household devices. Both Atto 2 models share the same powertrain, a front-mounted electric motor producing 130 kilowatts and 290 newton meters, which is sent to the front tyres. It feels fairly sedate, even under flat-footed acceleration, though BYD reckons you can knock off the sprint to 100 kilometers an hour in 7.9 seconds. Both models also share the same battery, a 51.1 kilowatt-hour blade unit, which should unlock a WLTP driving range of 345 kilometers. AC charging is pegged at 7 kilowatts, which is the same as a standard home wall box, while DC fast charging is 82 kilowatts. Using the latter, BYD says you should go from 10 to 80% charged in 38 minutes.
Okay, so full disclosure, our drive program today hasn't been what we would call overly dynamic, shall we say. There's been a lot of freeway and highway driving, and some of these sort of country back roads or B roads too. So first things first, if you're expecting the last word in vehicle dynamics, you've probably come to the wrong place. It's really not what this vehicle is about. And in fact, there aren't many vehicles in this category that you would say can really put a huge smile on your face from behind the wheel. Now we get the European tune of this vehicle as opposed to the Chinese tune, which just means it's a little bit firmer, a little bit more involving, and doesn't have that kind of floaty sponginess that seems to be preferred in China. And here we are at some actual corners. And I've got to say, actually isn't a horrible amount of body roll through the car. The tyres, we're on the cheapest tyres in this entry-level car, and I can already feel them starting to squirm and strain a little bit under some more enthusiastic driving. So if you are someone who likes to put their foot down a little bit, I might suggest opting for the better rubber. And then there's the steering, which is pretty light and pretty vague. I don't know if you can see this, but I am putting a fair bit of lock in and not getting a huge amount of response from the vehicle. So that's probably not much to write home about either. Elsewhere though, it really just feels like one of those vehicles that does exactly what it says on the box. It's been pretty comfortable and pretty composed on everything we've thrown it at today. It's been quiet in the cabin. The acceleration is certainly not push you back in your seat stuff, but it's really decent for a car in this category. You'll have no problem getting away from traffic lights or pulling off quick overtaking maneuvers. And it really just feels like a pretty competent city cruiser. And again, one that doesn't feel like it has the cheapest in Australia tag applied to it.
It's yet to be crash tested, but there's no shortage of stuff. The entry-level car gets 6 airbags, rear parking sensors, and all the usual traction and braking stuff. Then there's active cruise control, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, cross-traffic alert in both directions. The list goes on. In fact, the only things the premium adds on top are a 360-degree camera and front parking sensors. BYD's warranty is an okay 6 years, but just 150,000 kilometres, which is a bit underwhelming compared to the best in the business. The battery is covered for 8 years or 180,000 kilometres, and BYD vehicles typically have 12-month or 20,000 kilometre service intervals with cap price servicing, though the details are yet to be confirmed for the Atto 2.
So that's the BYD Atto 2, the cheapest electric SUV in the country. And look, if you're someone who memorises kilowatts and newton meters and has a high octane blood level, then maybe this won't be the car for you. It's not the last word in driver engagement. But if you're looking for a comfortable, capable, competent city EV, this does a lot of things right, including technology and cabin space. And really at the price point, it's a little bit hard to believe. Now, to read my full review on this car and on hundreds of others by some of the best motoring journalists in the country, head to carsguide.com.au.